Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Connecting Your Apps, Understanding Zoho Flow Features, where we'll walk you through how Zoho Flow helps you connect your business apps, automate workflows, and eliminate manual tasks, keeping your processes running smoothly across one integrated ecosystem. We're excited to have you with us, and leading today's session is Elmer, one of our dedicated account managers. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section, and Sir George, one of our platform solutions designer, will be answering them moving forward. Over to you, Elmer.
Thanks for the introduction, Lane. So again, good morning, everyone. So thank you so much for, taking the time to join us today. So we really appreciate your presence and we're excited to have you here. So whether you're part of the operations team, handling sales, managing systems, or running your own business, so this session is designed to help you simplify your daily work. So today, we'll be talking about Zoho Flow and how it can help automate processes inside your organization. So our goal here for this session is very simple. So to help you understand what Zoho Flow is and how it can make your work easier in the most practical and straightforward way. So let's start. So what is Zoho Flow? So in very simple terms, Zoho Flow is a tool that connects your different applications and allows them to work together automatically. So most businesses use multiple systems, but these systems usually don't communicate with each other. So because of that, teams often end up manually transferring data, repeating tasks, or sending updates themselves. So Zoho Flow removes that manual work. So when something happens in one system, it automatically triggers an action in another. So it works in the background like a digital assistant, helping your processes run smoothly without the need for coding. Now let's talk about apps. So what you're seeing on the screen are different applications that Zoho Flow can connect to. So these are the tools that businesses already use every day. So you might recognize some of them like Google Sheets, Gmail, Slack, MailChimp, QuickBooks, Salesforce, and many more. So the important thing to understand here is this. Zoho Flow does not replace your apps. So instead, it connects them. So think of these apps as different departments in your company. So normally, they don't automatically talk to each other, right? So someone has to manually pass information from one to another. So for example, a lead might come from one system, but accounting is using another system. Support might be using different platform. Marketing might be using something else. So without integration, someone needs to manually update each system. So what Flow does is allow all these apps to communicate automatically. So if something happens in one app, Zoho Flow can immediately trigger an action in another app. So no need to switch tabs, no need to copy and paste, no need for manual follow-ups. And as you can see from the screen, it supports a wide range of applications, so not just Zoho apps. So it connects with many third-party systems as well. So whatever tools your business is currently using, so there's a high chance Zoho Flow can connect them together. So in simple terms, these apps are, the building blocks. So Zoho Flow is just the connector that makes them work as one system instead of separate tools. So now let's move on to the workflow builder. So this is where the actual automation is created. So what you're seeing on the screen is a visual canvas. So this is where your design, you design how your apps will work together. And the good thing is it's very easy to understand because everything is shown step by step. So you start with the trigger. In this example, it begins with a new form entry. So that simply means something happened, someone submitted a form. So after that, you define what should happen next. In the sample shown, it creates a lead in the CRM, right? So then there's a decision step, which simply means the system checks something, like asking a question. For example, is this a demo or an inquiry like that? So depending on the answer, it can take different actions. So it might create a ticket, notify the pre-sales team, or continue to another step. So everything is arranged visually from top to bottom. So you just connect the steps, and that becomes your automation flow. So there's no coding involved. So you're simply telling the system, when this happens, do this next, right? So to put it simply, the workflow builder is where you map out your processes digitally. So instead of someone manually handling each step, Zoho Flow follows the path you created and executes it automatically. So now let's talk about on-prem integrations. So most of what we discussed earlier involves cloud applications. So meaning systems that are accessible online. But some companies still use systems that are installed inside their office or company server. So these are what we call on-premise systems. So sometimes businesses think automations only works for cloud apps, but that's not the case. So Zoho Flow can also connect to your on-premise systems. So in the visual you're seeing, on the left side are cloud apps. And on the right side is the company's internal systems protected by a firewall. So normally, systems inside the company's network are not directly accessible from the outside for security reasons. So Zoho Flow uses a secure on-prem agent that acts as a bridge between your internal system and your cloud applications. So this allows data to move safely between them without exposing your system to security risk. So in basic terms, if your system is installed inside your office server, Zoho Flow can still connect it with your other apps. So this means you're not limited to cloud tools. So you can also automate processes between your internal systems and your online applications as well. So whether your software is in the cloud or inside your company server, so Zoho Flow can help bring everything together into one automated workflow. So now let's talk about triggers. A trigger is simply the starting point of your automation. So it's the event that tells Zoho Flow something just happened. Now start the process. At the top of the screen, you'll see different trigger sources like email, apps, RSS, webhook, and URL. So this means your automation can begin in different ways. So it could start when you receive an email, when something happens inside your app, when data is sent through a webhook, or even when a specific URL is accessed. So in this example, the trigger is a new form entry, right? So that means someone submitted a form, and that action automatically starts the flow. So once that trigger happens, the next step follows. In the visual, you can see it creates a task, right? Then continues to create a lead in the CRM, create a ticket, and notify the pre-sales team. But none of those actions would happen without the trigger. So the trigger is what activates everything. Okay. So basically, a trigger is like flipping the first domino. So once it falls, the rest of the steps follows automatically. So, whenever something important happens in your system, that event can be used as a trigger to start an automated process. So now let's talk about monitoring and troubleshooting. So automation is powerful, but one important question is, how do you know if everything is working properly, right? So what you're seeing on the screen is the task history. So this is where Zoho Flow records every execution of your workflow. So each time your flow runs, sorry, let me continue. So each time your flow runs, it shows the date and time. So the name of the flow, how it long it took, and the status. So you can clearly see whether it was completed successfully or it failed. So in the example shown, most executions are marked as completed, but there's also one mark as failed, right? So that's important because it tells you immediately if something didn't go as expected. And if there's a failure, Zoho Flow allows you to review what happened. So you can even resume or restart the execution. So instead of rebuilding the whole process from scratch. So in practical terms, this section is like your automation's report card. So it shows you what ran, when it ran, and whether it worked properly. So you're not just automating blindly. So you have the full visibility and control over your workflows at all times. So now let's talk about collaboration. So automation is not just about systems working together. So it's also about people working together. So in the visual, you can see collaborators in the center, right? Surrounded by different applications. So this represents your team working across multiple tools and systems. So Zoho Flow allows multiple users to access and manage workflows. So this means automation is not just limited to one person. So your team members can view flows, edit them if given permission, and monitor how they are running. So instead of processes being controlled by a single user, it becomes a shared effort. So teams can coordinate, review workflows together, and make improvements when needed. So this is especially helpful in growing companies where different departments are involved in one process. So sales, support, finance, and operations can all be connected not just through apps, but through shared visibility. So now let's talk about security and compliance. So when we talk about automation and connecting different systems, one of the biggest concerns is security. Businesses want to make sure their data is protected and handled properly, right? So here you can see Zoho several certifications and compliance standards like ISO certifications, GDPR, what else? HEPA, SOC2, CCPA, and others. So these are, internationally recognized standards that focus on information security, privacy protection, and proper data management. So what this means in simple terms is that Zoho Flow follows strict global standards to ensure your data is secure. So these certifications are not easy to obtain, actually. So companies go through audits and detailed reviews to prove that their systems meet security and privacy requirements. So, for example, GDPR focus on protecting personal data. HEPA is important for healthcare related information. SOC2 ensures the system is secure and reliable, and ISO certification show that proper security management process are in place. So when you use Zoho Flow, you're not just automating processes. So you're doing it on a platform that is built with strong security controls and compliance measures. So that means you can automate with confidence, knowing that security and privacy here are taken seriously. And that brings us to the end of our session on Zoho Flow. So today, we have seen how Zoho Flow connects different apps, how workflows are built visually, how triggers start automation, and how on-prem systems can still be integrated, how teams can collaborate, how can you monitor executions, and how everything runs on a secure and compliant platform. So we'd now like to open the floor for any questions you may have. So also if you'd like to have a demo tailored to your specific process or want to help setting up your first automation, feel free to reach out to us after this session. Thank you. Over to you, Lalaine.
All right, thank you, Elmer, for that insightful Zoho Flow feature presentation. So, if there are no questions from our participants, this wraps up our Connecting Your Apps, Understanding Zoho Flow Features. Thank you all for joining us today. And as Almer mentioned, if you have any questions or would like a free personalized demo, DapDap is always here to help. Reach out to us at info@dapdap.com or visit www.dapdap.com for a customized presentation and or solution tailored to your unique business needs. Thanks again and have a great rest of the day.